I just thought I'd take a semi-live moment here to trade, show you how I like to trade the New York session in the news. Like, this is the 5th of April, it's 17 minutes past 8 New York time, 17 minutes past 1 Ireland UK time. And the non-farm payroll has just been released, which is a bad outcome for the US dollar. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad outcome for our trading. So the way I like to look at trading is just if we, not with giving away absolutely all the info I have, I'll save that for the mentorship, but if you look this here, the dollar has dropped really quick and it's taken out all this liquidity. And by that what I mean is people will have buys, you know, in here under this swing low, this swing low, this swing low, and this market is just pumped down and taking it all out. So what I like to look for then is somewhere for the market to run into, like it's somewhere where it makes sense. And just by looking at this spike, if I line that up from here and look over to my left, I can just see a small fair value gap there and a void. So I'll just make that all one. But I hope the background music isn't too loud or too quiet and the sound's coming through, because I'm just testing really at the minute. And I'll use GU. Now the market right now, this is all liquidity here, you know. You have to look where the liquidity is, where the money is lying, and with this running up so quick, it's not going to give people time. It'll make people move their stop loss to entry or close trades quick, or just actually take out their stop loss. I'm gonna just clean this up a little. I like that order block there. I like how it's spiked off. I'd like to see it come back up in, possibly take out this high, maybe this high. There is fair value gap up in here. But that's how the market, what I meant to say is I like to see the market run up quick to do this here, and then I like to see it stagger down like that. These swing highs, swing lows. For me, that's when I see that, that's when I know I'm heading the right direction, at least momentarily, you know. And then time, like when if I had seen this break this high, then for me that would have been the retracement for the New York session. But I will look for a sell. I'm still interested in a sell, believe it or not, because I just feel like the market has been going up long enough. And on the higher time frames, in GU for example, just looking at the higher time frame, we've run into this for daily fair value gap over here. Okay, we've tapped in it. We may have broke a little higher, which is fine. Even looking on the 4 hour, what can we see? It's fair value gap here. It's tapping into this order block. Bit messy there. Nothing really stands out. Should have break above this, you know, it could go further, but this is just what makes me cautious to maybe see somewhere in the market for sells. I kind of said that, it kind of told us that story this morning because it's broke these lows. This is the 15-minute swing high. There's an imbalance in price here that I'd like to see filled. And using my fib, remember this is a 15-minute time frame. Let's just head off the 50. I'd like to see it come a little bit deeper. So this is where I ultimately use the 1 minute. This is where I think, right, it's already taken out all this. It may turn now, but it has to tell me it's going to turn. It has to give me a reason to want to sell. if we just go back to the DAX, see how it's looking. Okay, it broke a bit further. We've took out these lows over here. We're now into this fair value gap, and this actually acts as support. I know it's an algorithmic movement, but these tend to act as a bit of support in times, depending on how strong the market wants to go. Maybe it is coming down to take out these equal lows, which is fine, makes total sense also. Sell side liquidity. Take out these lows before we run into this fair value gap before turning around. But again, we've got to let the market tell us that. But just be aware, the reason we mark out this stuff isn't because we know it's going to go there. Nobody knows, but this is why you plan, this is why you speculate. This is where you think, if I start seeing signs of strength come back into the US dollar, then that would make sense to start selling again on GU. And it may never do that, and that's okay if it doesn't. All you have to do then is sit in your hands, wait till tomorrow, wait till later on in the day. All depends on you, the individual. There's absolutely nothing wrong with looking at price action and watching it all day. Euro's running that. What's Euro look like? Broke these lows in Euro. That's in the 1 minute. Go to the 5. Look, this is a absolutely mountains of liquidity line below here. Sell side. You know, with a price imbalance here for a value gap. The market's touched into that. We also have a void, basically. Pull out your fib, high to low. That price imbalance for value gap lines up nicely with the 705 and the fib. The void that is a bit lower, which I'm talking about, is this. This little area in here. More precise than that. Again, this is just understanding what you could be looking out for. Starting to stall here now. Now, could this just be a bit of consolidation on the dollar index before it sinks again? And that's common, by the way. That consolidation then makes a move, consolidates, makes a move, consolidates, makes a move. Vice, you know, it goes on and on and on, repeats itself. Consolidate, makes a move. Patience, patience, patience. Now I've stalled up here at this order block. How deep of a retracement is that? Let's check it out in 15 minutes. This is the more predominant swing high before the impulse low. It's 0.88. Now that is deep, deep. And this is a nice bearish candle, but it's too messy still. There's no gaps in here. There's no fair value gaps. There's nothing really to go off. And you know, people would be mad to get into a sell there, but you gotta realize there's a fair value gap there. Here's an order block. You know, that could just be a retracement to go even higher. I'd like to see this low broken, so I'll change the character here at least before I look for a sell. And if we get into sell trade, this is actually where I'd like to aim for, to fill this for a value gap. And the reason that I have that orange ray is because I want to use the 50, the equilibrium of this candle, so the midpoint of this candle, the body of it, that's where I would like to target. Because that's where it makes sense to me for the market to pull back before possibly moving further on. This is where you have to be patient, because this may be the new swing low before it pushes up into another swing high. So you can see we have this movement here, up and down. This could just be another pullback before pushing on. You can use your line, turn it into line chart. You can see market structure. Back to that. This again is where you have to be patient. You bear in mind, I do know this market is bullish, but I'm also aware that it's run into higher time frame for value gaps and order blocks. So, and this is Wednesday, and the reason Wednesday stands out for me is Tuesday, Wednesday usually makes the high of the week, and this is today in the London session. It has made the high of the week for me. Now we might see a little pullback. We might see a bearish movement for a moment in time. Just gotta be patient. Patient. I'm sorry I keep rambling that word on, but patience is virtue. It's the difference between winning and losing. If you have to sit in your hands for the rest of the day and just take notes of how the market moves, subconsciously your mind will take all that in. That's where your intuition starts to kick in, because you'll be thinking to yourself, I've been here before, I've entered a trade here. You may know exactly how, but you will know you've entered a trade here and it didn't quite work out. And that might happen 100 times over before your brain actually starts to subconsciously take that in. And this is probably the hardest part about trading, is it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, a lot of lonely hours over this, battling with your human nature of greed and fear, missing out, and impatience. And you don't have to work. Like, I do understand at the beginning you will spend a lot of hours at this, and people say you can spend too long, but if you absolutely love it, do it. There's nobody can tell me I spend too long at the charts. I just love doing it. It's like saying, you know, I love laying in a hot tub drinking a whiskey. You know, if you love doing it, then do it. Nobody's going to get you out of the hot tub. This is my hot tub, overlooking a beautiful bit of a view. This is Switzerland to me by the looks of it. So look at the way this market's coming up now. This candle here, as I mentioned before, can suck people into a false pretense that things is like that's a big ass candle. Like, people would be mad, getting mad to jump in there. You know, they have their stop loss just above the high. Next thing you're like, uh-oh, too soon. It sucked me in. Next thing you're out of the game. So should this break this high, Look, I'm going to remove this. We know that's the order block that's marked out. Again, I just like keep my charts clean. I know it's there, but should this break this high, then this will be moved to here. I'd want to see this low taken out for change of structure, change of character, sorry. But it has to break that high. On the next area of liquidity is this high. Buy side liquidity lies here, and also up here, and that small fair value gap up in there. Don't plaster your charts, learn to just understand where they are. So as you see, that's taken out that high. My new change character will be here. People say, look, why don't you look for buys? But the move's already gone. It's already been made. You know, it's taken out this liquidity that lies here. To me, that's too late. Do you know? It's too late to look for buys. I could, can keep on steamrolling up. That's fine. I don't care. Now have we taken out this buy side liquidity up here? We're looking like equal highs almost here. Fair value gaps up in here. The market might just fall short of that. But you know now in the future, if it does, there's equal highs up here that the market probably will seek out at a later date. I just feel, things to me just feel bearish. I just feel like the Wednesday made the high, and it can also make the low. That's the low of the week. But I just like to see that this imbalance is what the market will be sucked into. I just like to see that imbalance completely filled. I'm gonna sneeze, excuse me. Phew. That's the imbalance that I'd like to see the market completely fill. Again, we know it's there. We're completely aware it's there. Let's look at there's any signs in the deck. Say it's coming for a sell side liquidity. That's looking good. What's over to the left? For a value gap. Voids that has not been filled. Will I want to run down into that? We'll see. Just let the market tell you, and I will tell you, it'll give you some sort of indication that this is what it wants to do. Should I actually add British pound. How's that looking? See, this is why I don't like looking at this chart. Like, it's always just doesn't tell me anything. Just doesn't really tell me anything. All these big voids. It's a little confusing. But if you really want to break it down, like just using the ray for handiness, it's taking out these equal highs. There's void, there's so much liquidity built up in under here. That would be a sign that maybe British pound would weaken a little and start taking out all this liquidity, all these voids that have not been filled. And should that happen, GU for example, going back to it, should start going a little bearish, provided that's what happens. So you see and understand the picture we're trying to build here. The market seeks liquidity at all times. You can't move without it. And let it seek the liquidity. Let it do the work for you. And in the meantime, why don't you just read a book, watch a movie, go for a coffee, get a bite to eat, spend time with the wife, the children, the husband. That's what I love most about trading, is that it does free you up. Yes, you will have moments where where you're busy. This is a swing low for me, but it hasn't broke these highs, so still this is a change of character right now. I want to see. Hasn't pushed a new high. I'm actually looking forward to doing the lives, because that says the chat's obviously going to be open, and people I'm more than happy to answer questions for people if they have any questions at all. I do not care what it is, as long as it's Forex related. Please do ask away. There's nothing stupid in Forex, because it could be just one wee piece of the puzzle you're missing that can make all the difference till you're winning and losing. And I don't care if it's even TradingView related, like how to use TradingView. That's fine, I'll answer that as well. Like, you know, we all started somewhere, and we all start out thinking, oh, you know what, if I can just do this part-time and earn passive income. This isn't a passive income occupation or business. This is a life-changing business when you get on it. It does take a lot of effort to get to that stage, so you have to keep your feet in the ground. You have to be, don't be hard on yourself. Like, this can take years to learn, and if you lose 20 trades in a row, so what? This is all part of learning. This is all like, when you started to learn to walk, you fell over again and again and again and again. The same with riding a bike. You're constantly falling over, you're constantly making a mistake, and then after a while it just becomes completely natural to you. Your intuition, you don't even think about it, your subconscious mind, you just walk. You just cycle, you don't think about it. Same with driving. Like, when you went to learn when you went to learn how to drive, especially a manual, I know, depending if you're American or European, most Europeans have manuals and a lot of Americans have automatics, but if you're learning how to drive a manual, you know, you're thinking about the clutch and how much acceleration you need, and, you know, reverse parking and etc. There's a lot of thinking in that at the start, and then after a while you don't think about it, you just do it. And then if you went to, the reason about teaching is if you went to explain to somebody how to drive, then you have to start thinking about it again. You have to start explaining to that person sitting in the driver's seat, aka you, the new trader, the person's trying to learn how to trade. You're trying to tell somebody how to follow the throttle along with the clutch so you can get the right bite at the right time. And that you can do so much explaining to somebody, but eventually they have to go out on their own. And eventually it just becomes, again, subconsciously, you don't think about how you drive, just like you don't think about how you trade. You do paint your picture always. You do have to have that understanding of what the market's telling you. And that takes time. A lot of time. Same with any occupation. You're a chef, bricklayer, joiner, maybe a nurse that takes blood. At the start there's a lot of thinking and a bit nervous and a lot to learn. Eventually it just becomes like breathing. Losing a trade is like missing a gear in a car. You know, well, I missed a gear, but you're still driving, like it doesn't really matter, keep going. You just shake it off. I'll take a wee quick look at EU. EU's taking out this. EU's actually looking a little bit better. And GU, we've taken out this sell side liquidity, or buy side liquidity. We've run up into an order block here. Just going to make this a wee bit bigger. So this order block, but followed in the fair value gap. Okay. We've already come into this area before. We have a change of character here, so as you can see, this swing low pushed into this swing high. Change the character. Oh, it does this sometimes. Change the character. Take a wee look at the Euro index. Taking out this sell side liquidity. Just a little. Still this imbalance here to fill up. The Euro has run into, just tidy this up a little. We know everything's there. Run on this fair value gap. I'm actually going to enter a sell here. This makes sense to me. I'm not going to go with a big. I'm going to go with 8, or sorry, 4. 4 pips stop loss. Just want to double check the DAX here. Made a new swing high. We're coming back into what could be a void here. This might be where the market wants to retrace into. We have broken this change of character. A wee bit more patience. I want to see this DAX come down. And this area, I want to see how it reacts. Let's go 5 to the left of the spread. 3.3. See the DAX here. See how we come down in here. still totally aware of this equal bottom, so that's what kind of makes me worry to go for an EU sell right now. Let's see how we react. As you can see, this is a paper trade right now. Don't want anybody thinking this is me on live money at this point. This is a lesson, not a life. And this is a great way to learn, by the way. Use this as much as you can to begin with. Don't start acting like Jimmy Big Balls. Use it. There's a lot of traders out there who will bluff. Just to add, I am not a financial advisor, so you take a trade and you lose money, that's on you, not me. I'm only here to help and guide. How's the DAX pushing up above? So can we see this come back up in here? 5 pip stop loss. Target these lows. Still hanging on for dear life here. DAX pushing up a little. Just want to see this. Just want to see it come down a bit deeper. Like it didn't even come to the 50 yet, you know, on that pull. That's why I like to just wait. Still consolidating a little. Alright, they're actually starting to come down a little bit now, which is good. Let's see it take out, or at least run into the void. Let's see this run up a little. Give us another wee spike. DAX is still coming down a little. It's not at the point I want to see it yet. New York session, it used to be my favorite. It's not anymore. I kind of like the London session, and obviously because I live in Ireland, it suits me at that time in the morning. I like to get my trades in, done for the day. If something nice comes up in the New York session, then this is how I will trade it. I expect that run to take out liquidity in the area of interest. You know, that showed me a few times that it's hit areas of interest, but it never actually sold off, you know. So let's say come back up in here. That would work in nicely with the DAX to fill in the void. I want to see this come down at least 50% of the fib, you know. This doesn't count over here because originally this was the push. It never hit the 50 yet. So I want to see it come down into here. Say I go into the 5 minute Euro USD. 2, 3, 1. Being patient can actually give you, it could really well give you a far better entry, you know. And having it correlate with something really helps. Please use paper trading if you're learning. If you are a funded trader and you're just tuning in just to tweak or maybe reset yourself or something, then you know yourself. Yes, work away your funded account, but please, learning paper trading, demo, whatever. Don't be like the rest of these scam artists that will tell you they're making real money when they're not. There's nothing wrong with this. Nothing. This is the best way to learn. And for me, like, there's back tests. Loads of people say, you know, back test. Back test for me isn't in the moment. It's not, your emotions aren't in line with actually how you're thinking right now. Back testing, it's a good way to maybe work out your strategy, but how would I line my emotions up with an entry here that goes alongside the DAXA? It just doesn't. So forward testing in paper trading mode is absolutely fantastic. It's a class way to learn. And you're not going to lose your bollocks, you know, and you're going to get a feel for how you should be trading. Like if I go into drawdown in my funded accounts, right, and I feel like I'm a bit out of tune with the markets, I feel like I'm just missing the markets by a second or two, I will switch to paper trading for a few days, maybe a day, sometimes a week, and I'll just paper trade. I'll get that rhythm back, that confidence back. And the market to me does feel like it's changing a little, so I'll tweak my strategy a bit, and next thing I know I come back, absolutely kill the markets, and all's right with the world again. So the market here right now is building up more liquidity. You know, we could see it run down and then up in there one more time. They're actually still coming down hard. I want it just to tap into that void. Into the void. And that is me in the trade, which is 9565. Stop loss. Still happy with the stop loss. I was completely filled that fair value gap up again. Still a little come down on the DAXA for it to fill in this void. But as you see, the pullback now is into the discount area. It's below the 50 now, which I like to see. GBP has broken this low, but again, this is a change of character I'd like to see. Are we sit and wait now? Just gotta lay back there for a bit. see what the markets want to do. But you see the picture now that's been painted. You see why we've entered. You see why we've taken a sell, even in a bullish market. Just on the higher time frame, it just feels like, we've started to break down a little. There's no sure indication we're going bearish now. So this is a riskier trade as such. But it ultimately makes sense to me. And somebody right now could be buying and making money, and I could be selling and making money, which is the weird part about trading, is that two people could have two completely different views and still make money in the market. Now for me, that's just come on a tap in the bottom end of that order block to the left. It could come up to the equilibrium of that order block, possibly keep going. But that's why my stop loss is there to allow for that. And this is all the hard work's over, if you know what I mean. This is the point now where you just gotta let it play out. You just gotta let the markets play out and do their thing. Should you be wrong or should you be right? That's the name of the game. And again, it ain't a game. This is a total business. Don't play with it. Don't half-ass it. You might have one or two great trading days and think you're the bee's knees, and then the market will just slap you in the mouth and take it all within seconds if you don't respect it. And the reason I really love, anybody that knows me knows that I used to be, first job was actually working as a pizza boy when I was like 15, 16. And then after that, I left high school and I went straight into the stonemasonry with my cousin. Did enjoy it. It was brilliant crack and all. And brilliant crack. The crack in Ireland means good laugh, not what it means everywhere else in the world. But yeah, so I went to stonemasonry. Really enjoyed it, but then I thought, you know what, I need another trade, so I ended up actually going to bricklaying, and I'd done it for, I think it was 4 or 5 years before I actually moved to Australia. Bricklayed out there for a year, and then ended up working in the mines. I was driving all sorts of machinery. Really enjoyed that. Massive long hours and swings, so I was 4 weeks away at a time, 5 days off. I was working 12-hour days for 28 days straight. I also done a spell as a mining supervisor for a while. I was a rigger, so I would have rigged to the cranes and putting up processing plants, etc. Mainly working in iron ore mines, and from there I just eventually moved back home, and I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life, to be honest. I'd badly injured myself and I couldn't go back to bricklaying. I still can't to this day. I actually cracked this in my back, and that just left me I was always used to using my hands. Didn't know anything else bar manual labour, and I wasn't no dumbass. I could do any job I was asked to do. But the reason I moved from job to job ultimately was nothing truly I felt tested me or interested me. So once you get the hang of stonemasonry, it is great and all, and I absolutely love the end result of looking back and thinking, wow, that was, this looks really well. But you know, after you do so many, it just becomes repetitive and easy. It's the same with bricklaying, it's the same with driving an excavator or front end loader, or, you know, haul trucks, whatever you want to talk about. It just becomes monotonous. Whereas trading, because I feel it always changes a little, trading for me, and there is no cap as to what you can earn in trading. You know, you can earn £100 that week, or you could earn 100 grand that week. It honestly, there is no limit, no limitations to what you can actually earn. And you're never done learning. Just to add that, you're never done learning. There's always something else. There's always another tool to use, another way to understand the market. And like, there's so many successful traders out there that all trade their own way, have all found their own way, and all trade a little bit different. Like, they'll have learned something themselves. Like, I've hand-picked things off traders, tiny wee things. It's like taking a piece of every puzzle of numerous amount of traders over the years, and then taking that puzzle and putting it together in the dark and making my own picture. And that takes time. But I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. Because every day I learn something. Even though I can trade, every day I learn something. And I absolutely love interacting with people who want to learn how to trade. Like, I just, my dream, like, everybody says, oh, you know, it's so much money and all, but the money's just a piece of paper. It's just a number on a screen to me. It doesn't, like, if you had money and nothing to spend it on, then what is it? It's worthless. It is worthless. But if you can use money to set your family financially free, look after your parents, feed somebody, house somebody, pay for an operation of a child or something like that, it's not money, it's what money can do, is my drive. I don't get don't get me wrong, I absolutely love cars. Anybody else knows me, I'm a car nut. But that's not what drives me forward. That's not what excites me. It's the thought of being able to take care of your family for generations to come and learning a skill that very little can learn. That's what excites me. Like, that's what I just look forward to, getting up every morning. Sometimes it becomes an obsession. Sometimes you can't sleep thinking about the next day. I get excited about it. And that took me, like, I started around 2018. That took me years. Like, I'm 39 now. So I was 34 when I figured out what I wanted to do in my life. So depending on it doesn't matter what age you are, but you could be a teenager, you could be same age as me right now, listen to this, so you could be 50, 60 years of age. It honestly does not matter. You can learn this if you love it. You have to love it, and you have to have your reason for doing it, because there's going to be a lot of dark days of this, a lot at the beginning, until you start to really tune into the markets. You're going to have a lot more dark days at the start, and you're going to think you can't do it. You can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. As you can see, the market's fluctuating. I'd rather just took me out now, because it's coming down for the sell side liquidity on the DAX. So I'd rather just took me out and then give me another option to get back into the trade. just playing, toying about right now. Either take me out or melt. That's what I want. I was very tempting to close your trade there because it's not going to, not exactly how I'd want it to go. I'd like it to push away from this area really quick if it is to go down. But it ain't doing that, so that means it's struggling to move down. It's actually struggling to get strength after that news. This could be the push up now. As you can see, it's building structure here. Either this candle or the next will definitely tell the tale. When a candle, by the way, moves up in the first, especially the 1 minute candle, but it starts to move up at the start, that kind of tells me it's going to be bearish. It's going to close bearish. Because usually the last 10 seconds or so, or 20 seconds of a candle closes where it was originally planned to close in the algorithm. A bullish candle as such, but it still didn't break. Didn't break massive structure there. I hope this isn't boring anybody, but this is trading 101. This is what it does. It will scare you into thinking you're wrong. It'll manipulate you if you let it. But you just have to have confidence in your story, I guess. Like, that might be a big bearish candle there, but that still doesn't indicate it's going to go lower, because it has to break this low. It has to break this low for that. So we'll just mark that out just as a, that low has to be taken out before I start thinking we're going to start moving bearish. Because this could just be a pullback into this order block, you see. That could just be a pullback into this order block. So again, we wait. Let's see what the market's going to do. Are we right or are we wrong? And I don't even think there is a wrong. There's a you can be perfectly fine in your analysis. You honestly can, but this market mightn't play ball that day. You know, Forex is even though it is algorithmic, definitely it isn't perfect, as I say. That's why you gotta just stick to your trading rules, your trading strategy. Let the losers play out, let the winners play out. As long as you've tested your strategy and you have the results there in front of you, then you can have confidence in it. You know, you can have belief in your strategy. This took me a long time to figure out this strategy, and this isn't just like this came together from years of work, and even still I still tweak it a little, I still critique it. I chase and hone perfection. I want perfection. And even though I know I can't get perfection because of how the markets move, I still chase it. It's what I want. I want to get as... Who knows? I could be trading for the next 40 years. How much knowledge and perfection will I have then? Do you know? What will my... I don't even really care about win rate so much. It's all about your RR, your profits for your losses. But how good... Like, if you... It doesn't matter. Say you're... What I'm trying to say you're 40 years of age and you're only starting trading now. Well, look at it this way. Say you're in a shitty job you don't like. You know, you're going to have to spend the next 27 years in that job before retirement. Okay? Imagine how good at trading you're going to be in 5 years, 10 years. Are you going to be able to retire in 10 years? You know? That for me is why age doesn't really define you. A lot of people I know haven't retired at their retirement age because they don't know what to do with themselves. This you can do at home every day and night, and with crypto, should you master it, it's 24/7, 7 days a week, whereas Forex, in case anybody doesn't know, is 5 days a week. Sunday night really to Friday. Now that candle is now, I'd like to see it close below that low. I do expect a retracement here on a real decider of where it's going to go at this moment in time. And so if we see a retracement and then take this, just want to clone this, take this low over here for example. Should we break that low, then that's when I would consider moving my stop loss to entry. And what am I gonna aim for? I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I do like to plan ahead. Like these lows here is what I'd like to aim for. Because there's so much sell side liquidity sitting along here. You know, so it would make sense for the market. Let's round it off just to 19. That's where I'd like my ultimate TP, but here I'd take off a partial, to be honest. So this I'm gonna make this my TP1. If we get tilt, and this ultimately will be where I would leave price to ride to. What would I take off here? To be honest, I'll probably take off 50%. If I hit TP1. Again, because it is a riskier trade, because we have been working bullish most of the time. But I just feel the market's breaking down, you know. Wednesday or Tuesday tend to make the high of the week. So I'm going to take off close partials. Take off 50%, partially closed, right? So that's partially closed now. This is where I'd like to be my stop loss to entry. 0. Stop loss to entry, and then that's when you're risk free. So some people say, oh, you take your partials too early, but you gotta understand that's over a 1-to-1. So what I mean by that is 5 pip stop loss if I go 5 pips down, that is a 1-to-1 trade. You understand? So 1-to-1 is, you know, sorry about this here. You know, that would be a 1-to-1 trade. And say if you're risking 1%, you know, that's your 1% made just in that trade today. But it all depends on the individual. What do you want to do? How do you like to trade? You know, people will tell you, this is one thing I will never tell anybody, is how to actually when you should take your partials. Like the minimum 1-to-1, yes, but everybody, some people aren't like this. Some people just like, this is it. If it does not reach here, then I'm taking nothing. It wouldn't matter if it's 1 pip or 2 pips short of it. And that's how they trade, that's how they make money. That's fine. Me, I like to, if I go over a 1-to-1 and there's just an area, they're all different, because this area here, it hasn't, even though it hasn't broke this low, it's close to it, so that's why I would take 50% off and let the rest ride and move my stop loss down to it, because the risk is gone now. I've taken my profits for the day. I remember this is paper trading, by the way. But this is how I would trade the New York session. The reason I don't want to put on the live account is this isn't live trading on a live trade, sorry, right now, and because of what happened in the Asia range, that's for me the movement done. Like today's movement was this. I took out this low. That's the movement I would like to get into, but I didn't, because for me to get into this movement here, I'd want to have seen this as a change of structure, which it didn't give me. So I'd like to see this here broken first and then a pullback. Even though this range here did break it, my rule is, when I use the fib, and I only use it as a guide, I don't use it for entries. If this pullback right here didn't go below the 50, then I don't have an entry. So if it had broke this change of character over here, which it did, for me to look for an entry, I would have to wait till it broke this 50, this 0.5 on the fib, which is just 50% of the move, and into the discount area. And I would have aimed for the equilibrium of this candle, so the mid-range of the body of this candle. And that's where I would have liked to go for an entry. But that move was done, so it didn't even come back for that. It just moved on up. It took out the mid-range of the Asia, but didn't take out the high. So that for me is, if it's not taking out the high, the market to me looks bearish now. You understand? It's starting to fall away. It couldn't break that high, so the momentum started to go. So long is this video so far? I haven't a clue. I cannot see the time in this. I don't see the seconds on. It doesn't really matter. It's the start to finish. This is trading, guys. So let's see, I've got all this marked right, don't I? Yeah. Okay. So do you see what I mean about how I like to trade the New York session? Like, this is just before the New York session, and the news, which you've seen, absolutely ramped up. It's running this fair value gap. It's taking out all this buy side liquidity, where the stops would be hanging above all these. I don't know if I said this, but when I mean with stops, there's people would have sold here You know, stop loss just above that, and you know they would have aimed for there's lows over here, or this imbalance in price. You know, they would have aimed for this, and the reason the market moves up so quick is this New York Open has just come back to take out all these stops. So stops here, there'll be stops here. People would have sells here, here, etc., etc. And the market's just come up to take out all them stops. Take out buy side liquidity. And it's done that, that's its job. And then New York session, not every time, but to put the percentage of a winning trade in your favour, the New York session tends to follow the London session, but there really is a lot that depends on market structure as well. There's just a big story that you have to build up and figure out what makes perfect sense. And that, to take out all this liquidity, I love to see it move up that quick. I love to see it move up that quick on the opening, because that scares, even if somebody's got their stop loss above here, they're still okay, but it'll move up that quick. All they'll want to do is, your human nature will just want to sell, like just close the trade. And that's what I mean by like an algorithm built around human nature. As far as I'm concerned, it will work on your weaknesses, and that takes a while to get overcome. Because we've been, if you think about it, the way we are taught in schools, and not to go into like mad conspiracy and stuff, but the way we're taught in schools is there's only one right answer. If you get it wrong, you're punished and given a bad grade, etc., etc. So you're afraid to take chances. You know, you're afraid to fail. And in this game, you are going to fail a lot, and you're going to get angry a lot. And then after a while, whenever you start figuring out what this is about, and you start looking at the market for what exactly it is, as a AI basically designed to take the piss out of you, and you have to suppress and rewire your brain into a completely different way of thinking. You have to have no fear, literally no celebration in winning, or no commiserations in losing. Again, I said I absolutely hate to lose, but it's not something I ponder on. I'll just literally brush it off and move on. But what time is it? This is coming up to 2:30 in UK time, and I have to go soon. So I think this live streams are on long enough. Could have moved my stop loss a little bit shorter than these equal lows. So it's run into this now, and I'm running out of time. So I think I'm going to close this trade. I'm happy enough with this trade. It's done what I wanted to do. It's showing you how I like to trade New York session without giving away too much. I'm saving that for, there's so much more to this I'm saving for people that's going to join the mentorship. There's going to be 12 months of it. It works out about 60p an hour for me, because I'm going to be putting in roughly around 3,000 hours per person, and that's, I do not mind, because I have downtime, So I'm just going to close this trade before I go on any further. Close position. Say you're only using the 1%, that's a 1 to 3 trade, okay? You would have been 3% up on that. I'm not going to tell people how they want to trade, I'll just show people how to trade. But I'm saving a lot of golden nuggets and gems and secrets for people in the mentorship. but you need people with dedication. I actually got asked the other day, a phone call from a really nice lad, and phoned me up and he says, "Look, Finney, would you consider doing like an introductory course into trading, and doing it a bit cheaper?" And I absolutely, honestly, I get it, but I said no, I wouldn't, because all that's for free on YouTube, so it's like, why would I ask people for money for something that you can learn on, and I mean basic learning on YouTube? Why would I take money off people for something that's like, YouTube is riddled with free stuff, and it's not all bad, but there's free stuff on YouTube I've looked at, and you know what, that's actually decent. But the mentorship is me, what you see today, live, real funds, trading as a community and a family, and helping each other out, and being able to ask me questions, because I'm only going to live trade for a bit on YouTube. I'm saving the real gems, the real gold, the real nuggets, the real learning for people that's actually going to invest in themselves. Not to sound like a salesman, because I'm not. I don't give a shit if people join or not. I mean, I'll just go into my own wee world and keep trading away. But the reason I'm asking for a payment, it's not massive. It's to show dedication for yourself. Like, if you fail, that's on you, not me. You've let yourself down. You haven't let me down. You've let yourself down and your family down when I look at it. So this was got me through the hard days, was times I was just like, I can't get this. I cannot do this trading. It's so hard. And I was like, I'd look at my wife, my family, my son, my wife, my mother, my father, brothers, sisters, friends, and I just like, I'm not quitting. Like, I'm not giving up. I have a dream and a goal to make sure nobody ever has to financially worry again. And it's not the money for me. It's what money does, I spoke about earlier. And I hate to sort of spill my heart out, or that's me. Like, and I know there's people out there very like that too. That's why people succeed in life. Is some people want to be flashy and drive a Lambo and all, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love a Lambo, say I love cars, but is that like top of my list? Definitely not. I don't want to give too much away personally, but I have a vision in my own head of what I want to do, and it's just to take the weight of the world off people in my family. At least financially, I will never have to worry about it again. But folks, thanks for tuning in. I'm definitely going to start going live and doing trades and call outs such as this here, and start teaching people. And what I want to say is, if you're going to join the lives, please subscribe and please like this video. Helps me with the algorithm. And I also want you to join as a student, as somebody who's learning, and don't use real money, please, because it gives me a wee bit more it makes me relax a bit more to know the people are learning and not gambling. Do you know what I mean? If you want to learn trading, go to paper trading, stick a demo account on. Enjoy the losses, enjoy the wins, and enjoy learning. Get a book. There's going to be notes after notes after notes, and it's going to be constant, relentless. So, and if anybody's interested, please feel free to join my Instagram. Now, it is new. So, Instagram, profile. Now, I have 0 posts. I've only put this up. So, it's Funny Fella FX. If you want to DM me. I'll send you a voice note so you know it's me. Just tell me your name and I'll repeat it back to you. There's not too many people with a Irish accent, so. And as you can see, it's a limited 2023 mentorship open. There's only 18 spaces left. I'm not taking on anymore. The group's going to be small. It's going to be a small community, a small family, and we're going to spend the full 12 months driving this into ourselves, driving this into you. By the end of 12 months, you're not going to need me. You're going to be on your own. You're going to have all the knowledge you need and the support. So it's going to be a lifetime. We're going to have people added onto my Discord. When then 12 months is up, that's not it. It's stay with me. Let's get the Prop Firm Challenge done. And that is another challenge on its own, is to actually keep that and learning how to use real funds. Help the next mentorship group come in. Be a family, help each other. If somebody's stuck on something, somebody's lost on something, then this is what it's about. Building this community, building this family atmosphere, and changing lives like that. Man, I would absolutely make my life if I just seen people coming away from this here with full knowledge, with the ability to make money, to change their family's life, change their own life, to do something they love, and from anywhere in the world on their own time. That would, I'm actually buzzing. I've got goosebumps here actually thinking about that. That makes me happy. Money is great. Having a far rather be rich than poor. And people say, oh, money's evil. No, it's money's evil in evil hands. It's good in good hands. So the goal isn't money, folks. The goal is what money can do. And this whole Forex, doesn't matter if you trade Forex or stocks or whatever, this frees you up. Trades like this. So just not to make things unrealistic for people, that's a 3-to-1 trade. Say your way of trading is not to take a TP1. You're just going to go 1 to 3. If you have a 100 grand account, that's a 3% increase in, let's say, how many minutes did this trade start? 30 minutes. So you're making a grand every 10 minutes. Do you need to trade for the rest of the week after that? Really? It's Wednesday. No, you don't. You've done your trade for the day. You've done your trade for the week. You give yourself a bit of a buffer. And tomorrow you could turn around and do the same, or take the rest of the week off. Some people don't make 3 grand a month. And that's with a 100 grand account. That's using risking 1%. Now again, you're not always going to win the trades, but as long as your profits outweigh your losses, that is the name of the game. Okay, I'm not going to go on anymore, folks. Thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you've learned something in this section. It's just excuse me. It's just an introduction, I guess, into what live trading is going to be like. I haven't give all my secrets away. I'm saving that for the mentorship. The people that actually aren't in the fucking... Oh, of course, I've done so well the whole way through it, being Irish. Apologies about that. The people that just aren't in the signals, the gamblers, people that actually want to learn, I'm saving the real golden nuggets for them and the mentorship. So if you're interested, please hit me a DM. It's 12 months long and a lifetime access. There's going to be so much more to it. And can I promise and guarantee you're going to make a fortune at the end of 12 months? Absolutely not. Can I guarantee you're going to be a far better trader with all the tools needed in place to make you a profitable trader? As long as you put in the work and time, absolutely. So thanks a lot, folks, and cheers for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will probably be back on tomorrow. I will not be on Friday. It's Good Friday, so I'll be relaxing. So take care, everyone, and happy trading.